What's good, everybody? It's the Saber94 here on good old Sarah B. In my long absence, we have more Pokemon sets listed here. Got the Crimson Haze set, might as well get this out of the way and review it. And the one after this, I don't remember the name, but I think a few cards haven't been listed yet. But this one's complete, so might as well take a look at the cards and see what's upcoming. Now, we got the grass Pokemon as always. I got the Tangela here. Just the basic Pokemon, nothing to it. Just plain filler. You got Tangrowth. Stage 1, 150 HP is still bad, but let's see what you do. Jungle Body. This Pokemon receives 30 less damage. Yeah, it's just for me to get pissed off. Weak ass HP, and then the ability that's gonna make it basically they need 180 to kill it and wash it. It's just ridiculous. I hate seeing this sort of effect. This effect on a weak ass Pokemon. Ah, man. Just look at like a great example of is the old fossil Kabuto, which was a 30 HP stage 1 Pokemon, I'm pretty sure. And it had like a Poke Body that blocked like a Poke Power, actually, it was back then, that blocked 10 damage or something, I think. I mean, it's just, that's not going to do anything. It's the same with a Pokemon like this. They give these stage 1s and stage 2s with terrible HP, these sort of abilities that are going to block damage like it's going to make a difference. Things like hit over 200 easy, so blocking 30 damage on a 150 HP stage 1 is a joke. Okay, and rand. So loom over, the attack does 150 and then 10 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So useless attack, useless HP, useless ability, fully useless Pokemon. This thing is never going to have damage counters on. It's always going to be dead. And if it has a few damage counters, the attack becomes even more terrible. So I don't know what they're thinking, but I've been saying this for years, making all of the regular cards useless. So you got the Pinsir, discard all energy from this Pokemon, and at the end of the turn, defending Pokemon will be knocked out at the end of your opponent's turn. So we've seen this sort of attacks before. I think like a Beedrill stage 2 used to do this from X and Y era. Maybe it could have been even Primal Clash, but seeing it before, it's not really that spectacular because your opponent can play around it if they switch. I mean, if you can get a big-ass KO with this, it's going to be good. I mean, what am I talking about? Jirachi also had this. So, I guess that could work. I mean, Jirachi did this for 2 energies too. You discarded everything and at the end of the turn. I mean, you put the pressure on your opponent, but, you know, if they switch, you've accomplished nothing. If they don't switch, then it's going to be a grand KO. It's not fully useless, but it's just something your opponent can play around. Powerful Horns, 100 for 3, doesn't matter. 110 HP, at least is a basic. This at least isn't as bad as Tangrowth, but it still won't be very good. Got the Spinarak, not a fan of these Pokemon, but looks kind of nice here. It's almost like a little sticker thrown into this background. Anyway, Ariados, 90 HP. 90 HP since the damn DP days still. So Big Net, if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon and its retreat cost is 1 colorless more. So there's like the new spider thing from Scarlet and Violet, the first set EX, that sort of boosts your opponent's retreat. I guess this is something else that you can combine with that. And the String Bind does 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon retreat cost. So basically pairs up with the attack. I believe this is going to stack as well, so you can play a bunch of these and then boost the attack. I mean, at least this, you know, it's going to function with 1 energy. You die in 1 shot as always, but you can do some damage too. And there's cards you combo with this, so maybe it's something. I've been out for so long, like I don't even remember everything. that's available, but there's cards that boost your opponent's Pokemon retreat besides this one, I'm quite sure. So there's stuff you can do. We got Leafeon as well, one of my favorites. Pretty nice angle here, kind of unusual, but I think it's kind of cool. It's a weak Pokemon though, as usual. 120 HP stage 1. New Leaf Blessing. Attach a basic grass energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, then heal all damage from that Pokemon. Okay, so it doesn't do any damage, but complete mass healing, it can be a big deal. The thing is, though, is that it takes up your attack, and, you know, it's the kind of thing where if you're going to heal a bench Pokemon, it means you had a Pokemon you were attacking with, and then you retreated, then you're using this to just heal and put an energy, but then, you know, you leave this Pokemon is gonna die in one shot while you just healed something else. So it's kind of awkward. It could have been worse, but it's still not that amazing. And yeah, 2 for 70, terrible. What would have made this kind of solid is if you did some damage too. Like you do 80 and then you do this, because anything less would have been even crappier. But of course they're not going to do that. Okay, then we got an Iron Leaves, which is basically the Cyborg Virizion. So it's a future Pokemon archetype. So recovery net, choose up to two Pokemon from your discard pile, reveal them and put them into your hand. That's pretty strong recovery actually. It's through an attack, but this is good. An attack like this that would get you like items and trainer cards like Sableye would be trouble, but Pokemon, maybe it's not a big deal. Normally like in stall decks, you're not trying to do that to get Pokemon for the most part. I guess this is something to give you some recovery, like Super Rod to the hand basically. And then Vengeful Edge, if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, 60 more damage. So it's a revenge attack indeed. 160 for 3. 160 for 3 is okay. Not groundbreaking, but alright, I guess. 100 for 3 is just very average, but at least it's a basic. I mean, it could be worse. You could be the damn Tangrowth. Okay. We got Poltergeist. So I guess this is some sort of variant for the Poltergeist Pokemon, I don't know. So warn, this Pokemon does not receive any damage from your opponent's Pokemon and its attacks while it's on the bench. 30 HP basic. Okay, so it has some protection there, but that's it. And then Sinistcha EX, the evolution. Damn, kind of weird. Reminds me of a Portrait of Ruin boss in Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. Yeah. So Infusion, Retribution, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon to put the damage counters on that Pokemon for each basic grass energy in your discard pile. Then shuffle all of those grass energy back into your deck. Okay, not bad. So this is almost like Legends Awakens Kindra attack. You know, we have other attacks that sort of do this before. You just shuffle all your energies back in the deck. You do a lot of damage. But this, you get to choose any Pokemon, and it's going to be damage through an effect. This could be pretty good though, but I mean, it just means that every turn, if you want to do this successfully, you're going to have to dump a lot of grass energies. I don't think it's realistic for you to be able to dump 10 grass energies every turn. So I guess this is just going to be, it can be a nice mid to late game attack. Like I guess if you use a grass stick with other attackers, and then mid to late game you want to use this guy as a sort of sniper, could be alright. It's a stage 1 though. And then match a splash, 120 for 2, and then you heal 30 from each of your Pokemon. Not bad, I guess. It's decent. His HP is very low though for a stage 1 EX. But besides that, I mean, I can see some uses for it. I don't know if it's going to be that good, but You know, the first attack, you can do some stuff with it. I mean, when you think about it, like Volcarona V is the closest Pokemon that comes to mind that we've had that, you know, can do that. It worked as a deck of its own, but, you know, it could also be used as a late game, end game attacker, you know, and you grab all your energies back. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what it did. And expanded, of course, with battle compressor and stuff. I guess you can make this more effective, but expanded isn't really a thing anymore. Then we got Vulpix and Ninetales again. These guys get a lot of prints, and I can't really remember the last one that was really good. Most of the recent ones we got were unimpressive. So it just does 90 for 2, and then your opponent's active Pokemon is Burn and Confused. Not that good. If it worked with 1 energy, Burn, Confusion, and then you do 90, I mean, it still would be pretty weak in terms of damage, but something, I guess. But 2 energy just ruins it. And nothing else, just 1 attack. Nothing else. I mean, ridiculous HP, doesn't even have a good retreat. Filler as always. And we got Slugma. Opponent's active Pokemon is burned, and you need 2 to do this. Macargo EX. Magargo. So 270 HP. I think it's one of those, yeah, if it's on the bench, they can't hurt it. The terrestrial, whatever. And the Terra Pokemon. Hot Magma, 70 for 2, and then Auto Burn. It's pretty average, but whatever, I guess. And then Ground Burn, both players discard the top card of their deck. It's gonna do 140 more damage for each energy discarded in this way. Okay, so this is a sort of classic effect on Macargo. I'm pretty sure the old original Macargo EX from EX Dragon did basically like a similar thing. Well, actually, that one you just dump energies on it and you do more damage. But there's been other ones that sort of do this. I think Camerupt does this commonly too. Now, funnily enough, there's the Celestial Storm Macargo based on Macargo from EX Deoxys. Am I confusing you yet? But basically, we stack cards, so they would combo and expand it. Just anything that would allow you to stack a card on top of your deck. You could just do this, put an energy, and you know, you do 280 for 3 basically. I mean, damn, if your opponent dumps an energy and then you dump an energy too, this is pretty much going to kill everything in the format. It would be at what? 420 damage? Insanity. So that's pretty crazy. But even if you don't do that, doing 280 should still be solid for 3, and then you don't discard anything. What's nice too is that even if your opponent doesn't discard an energy, forcing him to discard a card from their deck, it's kind of a handy thing. I remember the old Circuitry GX, I enjoyed using that. It can be pretty cool. So this is an okay Fire EX. It's going to need some support, some kind of partner. But with the right partner, it might be a nice little tier 2 deck. I don't know. I don't know how good a card like this is going to be. You got to keep in mind, you got to put the fire energies on too. 3 isn't an easy fit. And I can't really think of, well, I mean, I guess we do have energy acceleration for fire Pokemon still. But it's not as effective as using something like the Sada bitch, I think she was called, for the ancient Pokemon, or just something else more consistent. You know, we don't have Welder, of course. Alright, we got Torkoal next. And I kind of dig this sort of artwork too. Sort of zoomed out, but it's nice. Unfortunately, I don't think it does anything. I mean, look at this. Fire Spin, 110. And then you discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. I swear to God, they're trying to just fuck my brain over. You know, instead of making the basic and regular Pokemon stronger, they're making them weaker. I don't understand this. You can find about like 50 different similar Pokemon like this from the black and white era till now that are just better than this, that do this sort of similar thing. Black and white, starting with black and white, you've got the Reshiram. It did 120 for 3, you discard 2 energies. This, you do 110 for 3, you discard 2 energies. And this is like, we're talking like more than 12 years, like plus 13 years. A card that's 13 years newer than that Reshiram, and it's just weaker. Man, it's absolutely ridiculous. You look at how the rule box Pokemon have improved in the last 13 years. You know, you look at the EXs from black and white era to the Pokemon we got now. All the more damage they do, all the more HP they have. You know, just the typical massive improvements. And then these regular Pokemon are filler. And then the first attack, I mean, it does 30 for 2 and then it's gonna block 30. Still this fucking bullshit that's not gonna accomplish anything. I don't get it. Waste of time to piss me off. We got a Chinchar with 60 HP, just like the Dominant Pearl days in 2007. Pathetic. And we got Monferno too, 90 HP, also the same weakling. Doesn't really do anything. And then Infernape, 140 HP. So just around how much it had in like the black and white era, the one Infernape that got released over there. I think it had like 130 HP or something. Decade plus, still weaklings. Okay, what do you do though? Martial Fire, once during your turn you may attach up to 1 fire energy, up to 1 basic fire energy from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. Okay, so at least it has a good ability, even though it's gonna die in 1 shot. So you can basically, damn, power up this guy and just power up other Pokemon too. It actually has a solid attack as well, 200 for 3. That's at least usable for energy acceleration Pokemon. It's got like an effect that hasn't been translated. As usual, Cerebi is sort of messing up. It's probably something like you can't use this attack next turn, or maybe it discards an energy. I think I see the number 1 in the text, so maybe it does something like that. But, you know, double energy attachment from the hand, you know, it's not going to be unlimited like Excalibur, but you get fire and fighting type, and I mean, it's still something. Depending on the Pokemon you use, you know, you get that double from this guy, you get that manual attachment, it might be enough. So we'll see. It's just something that I would be interested in using, because we haven't had like fire energy acceleration in the form of Emboar, that sort of style, for a while. And it's kind of cool. I like the moon background there, like the big moon over there, Castlevania style, and then it's grabbing on the trees like a good old monkey, typical monkey. So cool card. It's just too bad, you know, the HP isn't good in this day and age. A Pokemon like this needs to have 220 HP minimum. And then if you're going to give it less, like maybe you want to give it 200 HP or something, it needs to have Free Retreat. But it doesn't have either. So too weak. And then we got Chi-Yu, regular one. Looks pretty weird, but I mean, this is a weird Pokemon in general. Allure, draw 2 cards, and then Ground Melt. If there is a stadium in play, 120 for 2, and then discard the stadium, whatever. Corphish, nothing, and then Crawdont. Flip coins, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, whatever. But this could be annoying. It does damage too, but I think decks that would try to deck you out would use like the Duck Tree or something. I mean, better options for that sort of tactic. And then Rampage and Hammer, 180 for 3, and then this guy can't attack. Still too weak. Dies in one shot. Typical filler. Got Glaceon too. This almost looks like the artwork from the theme deck from Majestic Dawn. Kind of similar. That one wasn't, or I think it was smiling too. I don't remember. I think that print was pretty happy too in the artwork. But it has a useless 70 for 2 attack, which is extremely, extremely bad. My god, I cannot tell you how ridiculous these cards look when you compare them with cards from 20 years ago. And you got Cold Primation. At the end of your opponent's next turn, put 9 damage counters on the defending Pokemon. So this attack is like so much better than the second one, but it's still bad. They can switch and then they really just play through the attack, the effect. So if they don't, it's 120 total for 1, which is not anything spectacular. You should be doing this sort of damage on stage 1s with 1 energy. Anyway, it should be the minimum. Vivid Voltage Dawn fan. Once again, remind people of that. Got Fione. Put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. That can be pretty useful. And then Energy Press. 20 for each energy on opponent's active Pokemon. Kind of a standard, you know, energy multiplier attack. Do more damage. Just a basic Pokemon. 70 HP is low, but it's sort of used as a support Pokemon, I guess. With the attack being a bonus. It can be useful, I guess. I mean, but since it only copies your opponent's energies, I wish the multiplier was 30. Kind of nice background once again. Got Froakie. I believe this should be clay artwork. Is this a first for this guy? I don't know. It grabs Froakies and then you put them on the bench. Okay, get your brethren. Frogadier. Just paralysis. And then, okay, so there's no Greninja, so it means it's probably coming out as a dark guy or something. I don't know. You got Cramorant. 120 Snipe. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, we don't really got a lot of snipers that do this sort of thing. We got a few Pokemon like Kyogre comes to mind for the water decks. That's better than this, but this can use any energy, so it's cool. Like, I think it was Cramorant V. It did like 150 or 160. Yeah, I think it was 160. And that was a V Pokemon. It didn't have a lot of HP, so it always sort of carried a risk. They killed it easily. But it did the sniping job if you wanted to. So this is pretty good as well. It's a regular edition. Less damage, but it's okay, I guess, for the job. Any energy. You got Walk-in Wake. Man, what kind of these lame-ass names on these Pokemon. So 20 and then you 20 heal. He's always going to be dead, so this doesn't matter. I swear to God, this is so ridiculous. Using these sort of Pokemon in decks like what? Claydol, you know, Groudon, Tinglu. I can't remember any time when my opponent is using any deck with some standard Pokemon, EXs or whatever, that attack me and I live. It's only against Pokemon like, you know, Lost Comfy decks, you know, with Sableye and Cramorant, where you get to live. And then even if you would heal 20, it wouldn't make a difference. So it really is just pointless effects, pointless attacks, because these Pokemon have terrible HP. And then the Clean Wave, you put up to 9 damage counters on this Pokemon, and you do 20 for each damage counter. So I guess you can max this out at 180, and then he's almost dead. But it doesn't matter, because he's always going to be dead anyway. So I guess we'll take the high damage and then not care. Yeah, Once again, this would only be a real drawback against Sableye, and that's about it. All of the self-damage you do wouldn't matter. Or I guess in some kind of other spread deck. But it's just not good. He can only be used as a suicide Pokemon, which it would be anyway. Because they die in one shot. Got Zapdos. Been getting so much love lately. But not the other birds. So Thunderbolt 190 for 3 and they discard all an energy from this Pokemon. That's pretty cool. I dig this. Trying to think, I mean, Fluffy rotated out. So won't be able to do the energy acceleration combo for that. Any other Pokemon? Man, I've forgotten everything in my absence. I'm just so out of it. Do we have any energy acceleration for lightning worth a damn? I can't think for the standard format. I could only think of Fluffy. Well, there's the generator, like the electric generator, but well, I guess, yeah, you can use that in those sort of lightning decks with that as a regular Pokemon. It wouldn't be too bad, actually. And then Thunder Wave, it's just paralysis on a coin flip, but it doesn't do damage. It should have done like 20 for 1 in doing this too. But everything else about it is sort of standard. You know, the 120 HP basic legendary Pokemon, double retreat, fighting resistance, weak to lightning, which is always weird on the Zapdos, but that's how it goes, I guess. Moving on to Helioptile. These guys have been getting bad cards too. So, do you do anything good? Wow, just look at how pathetic this is. But to be expected. It's almost like the Pokemon Company hates this guy, but I mean, they do this for all sorts of Pokemon. One attack, nothing else, and it's bad too. Like, this is shit. You do 70 for 1, you do 20 to yourself. What? Ridiculous. And it has 100 HP. Fucking Bibarel from Stormfront had 100 HP. Had an ability that blocked effects of attacks, and it did 60 for 2, which back then two-shotted SP Pokemon. God damn, man. It's beyond funny. You got Snack Search. Once during your turn, you may look at the top card of your deck. You may discard that card. So I guess this is something to be maybe paired up with Macargo, but I don't think this is the answer. And Pick and Patch. Attach up to 2 basic energy from your discard part of your Pokemon in any way you like. Okay, so there's like the Victini that sort of does stuff like this. It gets them from the deck, I think, or the disc. I don't remember, but I've tried using Pokemon like these, you know, Victini with Arcanine, and there's other Pokemon that do this, but they're just too slow. They don't do damage, and they die in one shot. Like, back when things like Landorus and Yveltal, like in the X and Y era, did this, and they were great cards, they could survive. They could take a hit with 120 and 130 HP, like 10 freaking years ago plus. They could take a hit with that sort of HP. They did a little bit of damage, which meant something on EX Pokemon. You know, 30 HP, subtracted out of 180. You know, that's something. It's a hell of a lot different than subtracting 30 HP from like a 280 HP Pokemon. And you grabbed an energy, plus you would survive. And they had secondary attacks that could be useful too. So they were better cards. These ones, they just don't do it. Even though this grabs 2 energies. I mean, Shuckle would grab 2 energies too from the Sun and Moon era. It didn't do anything. So What else am I gonna say? You got the Tad Bulb. Almost reminds me of like a Ratchet and Clank sort of a character. And the Belly Boat Frog Dude. Looks kind of cool here, chilling. It doesn't look like it's gonna do anything though. 130 for 3. At least it has no drawback, but it's still bad. And then 50 for 2 with a chance for paralysis. Yeah, nobody's using this. You got Iron Thorns EX. Okay, so this guy looks pretty cool for a sort of a robot Tyranitar. And it's a future Pokemon, of course. Initiation, while this Pokemon is in the active spot, Pokemon with Rule Box don't have any abilities. Okay, so there he is. A busted effect on this guy. This is going to be pretty good, I want to say. And, I mean, the way I understand it, this is a basic Pokemon, correct? Yeah, sort of like Salamence. So just a basic, and then you just get this great ability. Pretty good, we'll take it. Bolt Cyclone does 140 for 3, and then move on energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. It conserves energies. It's not really going to do that much damage on its own, but obviously you can use Cobalion to boost it further. The thing is that it's the type of Pokemon that really would have benefited from like the tool the ancient guys have to give it plus 60. Because, yeah, even though you're going to boost this and with Cobalion, then conserving energy, more than likely he's going to die with 230. The strongest Pokemon can kill him. You want to be able to make at least 2 attacks with this to be cool. But maybe because he's going to slow things down and just negate abilities while he's active, he'll be good. I don't know. I haven't really played that much against decks to see what really is going on in TCG Live. Gonna have to adjust back, I guess. But it's not a bad Pokemon. I mean, obviously the future theme of cards, they got a lot of support. Giraffaric. Wow, all sorts of flowers and plants there. Dual Headbutt. 10 damage to one of your benched... Mate, are you serious right now? So this does 30 for 1, which would have been shit anyway, but it also hits your guys too. For 10. A joke, man. This is a joke. I guess, yeah, technically it evolves now, but it still doesn't matter. So, Farigiraf. It does mid-rumble, 40 damage for each of your stage 1 Pokemon in play. So I guess if you get a bunch of stage 1s, let's say you get 5, that's 200. You get 6, that is 240, oh no, wait. Yeah, 240. That's actually pretty strong. Damn. Needs a DC to work, but we can work with this. And Eerie Wave, that's kind of just like an extra. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. You know what's funny is I've noticed they do this. You know, this Pokemon, the first attack, you're always going to want to do this. Even if you just have 2 Pokemon that are stage 1s, it hits for 80. So the Eerie Wave is already outclassed. But they give a Pokemon like this that would never need another second attack unless it was something really amazing. They give it a second attack, but then the Heliolisk just has 1 shitty attack and that's it. So I really don't get it. They should have just gave this sort of attack to this guy. You know, for every stage 1 you do 40 if you're just gonna have 1 attack. But like I've said, it just doesn't make sense what they do. Anyway, if you're going to use this, you're obviously going to use this for the first attack. And that's it. I mean, if I stop and think about it, maybe even the mouse holds, did they work like that too? Like they had another attack that you would never use anyway? I think. I don't remember. Okay, the Flabébé. Nothing. Still the bad HP. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards. Put them into your hand. Slow, but I guess it's better than nothing. And Florges. Bad 140 HP still. On stage 2 in this day and age. So tempting invitation. Once during your turn you may flip a coin. If head switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. And the new active Pokemon is not confused. So basically, this is a Pokemon catcher in the form of an ability, and it gives you the confusion bonus, which probably doesn't matter much. I mean, this is a stage 2. Yeah, the attack isn't good, the HP isn't good. Like, I remember Puka, when you reviewed a Ludicolo in like Primal Clash, Pokemon did like the exact same thing without the confusion. Just Pokemon catcher and a coin flip. It didn't do anything back then, and that was a stronger card compared to this for the time. So this is definitely not going to do anything. With all the options we got for pull-in Pokemon, why would you want to do this, you know, for the confusion? It's just ridiculous. They're just making cards to make them. Like, there's no way in hell anybody would think, let me just burn space in my deck, put like a stage 2 line so I can get a Pokemon catcher and a coin flip. With confusion, maybe. I can only think of this as some sort of very niche stall deck. And even then, they wouldn't be able to afford it. There's nothing really in it that's that good. So anyway, waste of time. Florges is one of my favorite, you know, Gen 6 Pokemon, and they just always give it shit cards. I got a Namarus. 30 for 1. Yeah, it's so funny. This does 30 for 1. But Girafarig did 30 for 1 and you hurt yourself too. But I guess it's because it evolves still. It's still bullshit. And then Love Resonance. It has an effect, but it hasn't been translated. So, once again, El Cerebi. It does 80 though. It says 120 here on the text, so I think maybe if you meet some condition, you can do like 80 plus 120, so that would be 200. I don't know what it is, but whatever. You got Scream Tail EX. It's really pissed. So you can use this attack only if you go second, and only during your first turn. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any supported cards from their hand. Wow, so you're only going to be able to do this once. If you go second and on your first turn, that's it. You slow them down. But I guess it's a strong thing to do. I mean, Pokemon like Executor could do this turn after turn. So whatever. And Crunch does 120, you discard energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. It's an auto discard. But still, I can't really see this being that great. I guess you'd use this just for the first attack to slow your opponent down. What are you doing next? I don't know. It is excuse me. It is an ancient Pokemon though. So it's gonna be in the archetype. Got the Growlithe, discard a Stadium. That's it. Arcanine. If your bench Pokemon have any damage, 120, costless. You know what? I guess what you could do with this is use this with the Gengar that's used with like the Hisuian Zoroark, and you can have like a stage 1 that does 120, costless. Might actually be kind of cool. Not that, I mean, if you did this for 1 energy, it would be a big deal, just running 10 energies in your deck. But because you need that sort of extra setup, I guess if we won't need energies, we can make the deck more consistent. So something that I would use, but it is a stage 1. Okay. Keep this in mind as the motherfucker that uses regular Pokemon. And nose pass, nothing. Is that like a house or? I don't know. Damn, excuse me. Let me get a sip of water real quick. Guys, please make sure you subscribe and leave a like if you enjoy the video. These set reviews aren't easy to make when I gotta yell on the screen for 1 hour plus. So Probopass, it does 80, and then if they have a tool attached, 160. I mean, 160 for 3 would be just alright. I guess can use any energy, that's handy. But just 80 for 3 isn't good. And then Land Crash, 120 for 4. Absolutely terrible. They've been doing this for ages. I can think just even in the, like, perhaps XY or Sun and Moon era, where you'd see these 1 for 20 for 4 attacks. Like, what was it? Yeah, there was a Hariyama, actually, that I reviewed when I did the TCG review for that. Pretty much did the same thing, stronger. 1 fighting energy, 3 colorless, so you could basically put a fighting and a triple acceleration, and then you could make the attack. And I'm pretty sure it did like 130 or 140, not even a 120. So they're making them weaker when they should be making them stronger. They're already behind in making them stronger, but they're like, no, actually we're going to make them even weaker. Crap. And then you got Greninja EX. Okay, it's a fighting Pokemon. So yeah, I forgot these guys can be any type when they're like Terra Pokemon. Okay, so Shinobi Blade, you may search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. God damn, it does 170. So this is extremely good. Like, it's mind-boggling to me. How are they going to make a card like this be this good? You know, a 1 energy attack be so amazing, but then other dudes like the regular Pokemon make them 50 times worse. So just put this in perspective. Grabbing any card directly from your deck into your hand is pretty much the best searching you can ask for. Okay? So that's already a strong effect. But not only did they give it a good effect, they didn't just do, okay, let's make it 100 for 1 and you grab any card. No, they did 170 for 1, which is in the range to two-shot Pokemon. Kind of like Garchomp EX when you think about it. Did 160, grabs energies. So kind of a similar thing. And you can grab any card. So pretty good. Busted. And then Mirage Barrage, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So similar to Garchomp once again, you know, sniping around. It's actually a much better snipe too. Like Garchomp did 120 max and then you just discard 2. This is just 3 and then you do 240. That's a million times better. Yeah, the design, they just don't make sense. All of the designs Pokemon does, they don't make sense to me. They're just so random. Random, but also, what's the word? On purpose, I guess. That's not the word I'm looking for, but you guys get what I mean. Intentional. It just seems like it's random. And it is a lot of the times, but it's also intentional for the regular Pokemon to be bad. Like, they'd never give something like this on a regular Pokemon. They would give it like a million drawbacks. You know, when am I going to get a regular Pokemon that can do not even 170, just make it do 130? And then you can grab a card from your deck. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. You got Halucha, And deliberate, yeah, that was the word I was looking for, I think. So prize counter, if you have more prize cards remaining in your opponent, 90 plus 50, that is 140 for 2. Not great. You got the apple dudes. Okay, wait a minute, almost forgot you. Tinglu, fighting Pokemon. Just almost looks like some sort of electric dark Pokemon, the way they drew it here. It's not like the Lost World or something, some kind of dimension shit. I don't know. So 110 for 3, average, and then ground rupture. If there is a stadium card in play, discard that stadium, and it does 60 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this has some very powerful spread for just 1 energy on a basic. I mean, you just might as well run a bunch of stadiums of your own and make a spread deck with this guy. I don't know. I mean, but if you don't have stadiums, then it's gonna suck. So I don't know. The other Tinglu, like the original regular one that does 220 for 3, is just too good. So I don't know if this would be a better replacement for it. If your opponent has a stadium, you do this once. I guess you can hit 30 on everybody. It could be good, but if you can't make use of that damage, like if you don't really have a deck based on spread, it's not really gonna matter. So yeah. Okay, now we look at the apples. Grab a Pokemon, that's it. The fuck is that next? Is there other apples? Diplin. Stage 1, but yeah, still bad. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, so you pull and then you do damage. So if you can't pull, you can't even attack, and the damage is ass. Why couldn't they made it work with 1 energy? It's gonna be like that. We got Eevee. Search your deck for a card. It evolves from this Pokemon and then put it onto this Pokemon. It's the Ascension, but if you think about all of the Eevees that you could attach an energy and evolve, they were a million times better. Snorlax. Prepare yourself for the worst. Eileen the Crow. So attach 1 energy from your hand to this Pokemon, then heal 60 damage from this Pokemon, whatever, and then 160 for 5. Yeah, I don't think so. There's better options. There we got Blood Moon Ursaluna. Yeah. What do you remind me of? Blood Moon. Some Castlevania shit once again. So Elder's Technique. This Pokemon's Blood Moon attacks cost 1 colorless less to use for each prize card your opponent has already taken. So, I mean, the 1 attack it has only, excuse me, basically, it's kind of like, what's it called? I forgot his damn name again. Litten, the starter from Sun and Moon. It's Litten and, why do I forget its name all the time now? I used to remember it so easily. But you guys know what I mean. It does the same thing. You know, 240s, Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. So, I guess they're gonna need to have a bunch of prizes for this to be a decent revenge Pokemon. And then if they do, I mean, your opponent needs to grab like 3 prizes for you to do this for 2. So I don't know, it's not that impressive. I think the other guy was better, did more damage. Damn, I want to remember his name. Anyway. And then we got A-Specs, Unfair Stamp. You can only play this card if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles a hand into their deck, then you draw 5 and your opponent draws 2. So it's kind of like an N that's always going to give you decent draw and always going to give your opponent shit draw. one of your Pokemon needs to get knocked out too. It's not a supporter though, so I guess you can do this, draw, set up a bunch of things, and then use a supporter to just either pull or draw more cards. It's not bad, but I don't think it's as good as some of the other ace specs we have. Maybe I'll be proven completely wrong though. Who knows? But, you know, especially when you consider all the decks that run Big Barrel and other draw Pokemon that can just draw you stuff. Is this really going to be the best ace spec? It's always been like stuff that you get your one-off card that your opponent can play around. Kind of like what was that ace spec, the Rock Guard. They don't end up being good. But then you got something like the ace spec Catcher, always going to be good. Or like the tool that gives you plus, what was it, like 40 plus 50? Whatever the hell it was, I don't even remember. Those are just good. Even if you get the effect once, they're good. So, like with the tool, you get the plus 15 and they discard it. So, I don't know. But it's an ace spec, and then Enhanced Hammer. Discard a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, good old Enhanced Hammer. Yeah, for a moment there I was thinking, are they going to print this as like an ace spec and then improve it or something? But no, it's just coming back. Automatic special energy discard. A lot of people like this card, a lot of people hate this card. I think it's kind of fair, you know. I'd rather have this than something like Catcher or just something else that is just random, but you can discard basic energies too. These at least you know when you're running a lot of special energies, the risk you're running into. So, yeah, I mean, I can see why people would hate it, but I mean, it is what it is. You got Hyper Aroma, another ace spec. Set your deck for up to 3 Stage 1 Evolution Pokemon and put them into your hand. Goddamn. Yeah, this is something pretty crazy too. This is a really strong ace spec. I think this would actually be more useful than the stamp. Because in certain decks, you do this, it's just great. Like that Giraffaric deck. Goddamn. To 3 Stage 1 Evolution Pokemon. Yeah, I put in this in like my Claydol decks and shit. Too damn good. It doesn't even say they gotta be like non-rule box. I mean, come on. When they print this card, it almost makes Master Ball look like shit now. But I guess with that, you can get anything. Maybe they should have made it you get 2. But then maybe it would have been 2 ass then. So who knows, maybe 3 is the right number. But it's pretty sweet, gonna tell you that. And then we got Switch and Catcher, reprint, you got Love Ball. I think this might be this first print. Search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one of your opponent's Pokemon on the field and then put them into your hand. So this is kind of similar to Repeat Ball, but instead of just something that you already have, it's something your opponent already has. So that's kind of clever, something creative. New card. You know, rather than just same shit. So I guess in mirror matches, this can be a great ball, but you probably would rather have something more consistent than Ultra Ball, even with the double discard. Got other options. But who knows? Maybe like as a tech, could be good. I don't know. It depends on how just heavy. Like if we had like a format where everyone using the one same deck, maybe. Okay. Survival Cast. This is another ace spec. Wow, it's like some sort of crazy armor. If the Pokemon this card is attached to has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack, it is not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead. And discard this card. Not that good. I mean, it's pretty much Focus Sash from Furious Fists. It's gonna work on anything. But your opponent is going to be able to play around it. You know, most of the Pokemon, you know, the rule box EXs, they got large HP. You don't want them to die in one shot anyway, so. This would be good on like some kind of a regular stage 2 Pokemon or just something else, which they should have been surviving to anyway. But realistically, you're gonna burn your one A-Spec for this? Yeah, I don't think so. Once again, it could have some uses, like there was that other A-Spec tool that just boosted your HP by 100, I think. But there's just so many other better options that are just going to be more consistent. So, yeah. Got Lucky Helmet, reprint too. Didn't change. Got the Caretaker. Caretaker. Draw 2 cards, and if community centers in play, shuffle this Caretaker back into your deck. Yeah, whatever. Lucian. Haven't seen this guy since Rise and Rivals. Pretty sure. And he doesn't really look that cool this time around. Whatever. So each player shuffles their hand, puts them at the bottom of their deck. And each player puts... What? And if you put cards, you flip a coin. If heads, the player draws 6. If tails, the player draws 3. So let me get this straight. This is basically Team Galactic's Wager. Reprinted. That's the way I understand it. I mean, they got the text worded like in Iono, where it's N, but they sort of word it like it's not N. But, I mean, it's pretty much Team Galactic's Wager. But you flip a coin as opposed to playing rock, paper, scissors or some shit. So, it's whatever. I don't think people are really going to use this card when there's more consistent options, but it's just something, I guess. Team Galactic's Wager coming back. You got Perrin. Reveal up to 2 Pokemon from your hand and shuffle them into... What? 2 Pokemon from your hand, shuffle them in the deck, and then search your deck for up to that many Pokemon, put them into your hand. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Sorry. I'm not going to minus to get Pokemon when I can just use other cards that are going to give me Pokemon. I mean, for crying out loud, isn't there like Pokemon Collector, or not Pokemon Collector, the Pokemania, there's like a little Pikachu cosplay kit that has the effect where you grab one Pokemon from your deck, you put it into your hand, something like that. Do we have that around? I think it must have been at an older time. I don't know. But we got other options. I mean, we got supporters that are just going to fetch you evolution Pokemon with Jack and I forgot her name again. The Jupiter looking bitch, her ancestor. You got options like that. Why the fuck am I going to minus? I guess, yeah, you can get anything, but yeah, I don't think so. What they should have done if they were going to make this have a cost is you have to put back one Pokemon or maybe just one card, and then you can grab 2 of any Pokemon. So make it like a stronger BB search. Then it could have had some good utility. But like this, I don't think so. You got Lana's assistance. Looks like she's doing some shit with the rod. Like, are you catching? Oh no, she's throwing the rod. It's not trying to reel something in this manner. So put up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy cards from a discard pile into your hand. Damn. No rule box, but you get a bunch of shit in hand. There's like other cards that do this for types, like we had Nessa did this for water a couple of formats ago, and you get a bitch that does this for psychic Pokemon. So I guess no rule box, but then you can grab anything with her. She's pretty good. I mean, in the end, I still think I'd like what do you call Miriam, I think. Basically the Pot of Avarice bitch. I still like her better, but this you get them directly in hand. So it might actually be in non-rule box decks a superior version of recovery. I want to say. I mean, when you think about it, she's also going to act like a slightly weaker fisherman too, but you know, that could be invaluable when you can get Pokemon too, and she's more flexible. So this is a really good supporter card. I think she might be the best supporter card I've seen so far. Yeah, the other guys didn't do much, but she's pretty good. Lana's pretty good. You got the Community Center. So once during each player's turn, that player already played a supporter card. They may heal 10 damage from each of their Pokemon. Yeah, it could be cool, I guess. Healing tank stuff, whatever. And then you got the Boomerang Energy. Last card. If this card is discarded by an effect of an attack, attach this card. Wait. By the effect of an attack of the Pokemon this card is attached to. Attach this card from discard back to Pokemon after attacking. So, this is kind of like the Flame or Burning Energy, I think, from Breakpoint. You know, you discard it with your own effect of an attack and then you can grab it back. It's colorless though, but this is seriously going to be good. They just made sure to print, Enhanced Hammer in the same set to sort of check it. But, you know, this is good. I mean, colorless Pokemon, non-colorless Pokemon can definitely utilize this. But Enhanced Hammer, you know, that card coming back is going to mean something for the format. So anyway, this is the set. These are like the alternate arts and full arts. Okay. Bitch. Sky. Yeah, he doesn't look as cool. Almost look like some sort of different Lucian. But yeah, I mean, this is the Crimson Haze set. Kind of like the Heat Haze attack that Fire Fist Ace does. But, I mean, I wasn't really that impressed, but maybe I'm just talking shit. There's a few good Pokemon actually. Ariados could be something. Sinister. Macargo. Infernape. Cramorant 2. Zapdos. So you know what? Never mind what I said. There's a lot of good cards here actually. It's almost like I was spoiled for choice. Farigiraf. The trainers do suck though. Boomerang Energy is good. Lana's Assistance is great. But then everything else, not that cool. Hyper Aroma, good ace spec. Unfair Stamp could be something too for those that like that. But yeah, I would still say this is a pretty strong set. I mean, it's going to be just one part of our next set. Wow. Okay, so this is the set review, guys, for Crimson Haze. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Share the video with your friends. And I'll see you guys next time. As always, say roll finder 4. What up?